boy Brian Skronsky, OH.Report founder, and welcome to the new and improved OH.Report video podcast. All the gangs here, we're going to be chopping it up like a sous chef on a cutting board, bringing you all of the semi-intelligent conversation that we can muster up. No chopping onions today, though. No tears on the show, unless we're trying to make somebody cry. I don't know, maybe it might be Travis Berardi. I know that you've been at the movies a lot lately. You shed any tears out there?
I did not, but I was extremely impressed, and you and I went and saw it, Top Gun Maverick, a couple nights ago, and after watching the first one, I know you were a little bit skeptical, but I said, what'd you think? You're like 100 times better.
I mean,
we'll discuss that later.
An idea marinate for 35 years, it better come out pretty good, and I think it did.
Yeah, we'll discuss that a little bit later. Spoiler alert, that's my topic.
Spoiler. Hayden Gray, fresh off of a wedding this last weekend, right? So love clearly in the air for you.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was a lot of fun. Pretty hot, but the beverages definitely helped out in that department.
Got to keep the water intake right.
Yeah.
Yeah, what kind of gluten-free beverages were you downing?
Oh, some seltzers. Yeah. And they were flowing.
Nice. Speaking of
flowing freely.
How about Storm Bluntschli not even sitting at his chair today? He's up, he's shaking about, maybe doing a TikTok dance or something cool.
That's the G-Man's dad dance. Speaking of his dad, I had a pretty interesting question before the podcast. Could me, G-Man, and G-Man's dad beat Triway 9-on-3 in softball?
Well, it's out there now, so Triway.
I think we could. I don't know. It'd be a reverse run rule in the bottom of the fifth, but I don't know.
I
no, it wouldn't.
I do know.
I honestly don't think we would get it right.
You don't think?
No, not if Carter's pitching.
I probably don't doubt that either.
Yeah, Carter's probably going to pitch. If you guys even just got a piece of the ball, like that could be a victory
I think
for you.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? All we have to do is score 5 runs.
Oh my gosh, be there all night.
And
And
it's softballs.
no, they're really playing.
Then no.
No.
We hit first.
Above they have 9, we have 3.
So
all we have to do is score 5.
If y'all get walked 3 in a row, then what?
Ghost runners.
I was
We
gonna
already
say, could you
talked
make
about
it to
that.
third
Ghost
base
runners.
on a triple?
Can they
Well,
even
if we
make
can
it to
put
third
that
base?
game together here in the near future, by golly, we're going to try to make that happen
we're
if
not
we
hitting
can.
it.
State
I would
championships, of course,
definitely
went
wanna
down
see that.
on the softball
their state
diamonds
championship trophy.
this past weekend, and we're going to talk about Worcester Triway here in a little bit. Also, the state track and field championships, and then regional baseball, which is where I want to start with today, because what an unbelievable game that Travis Berardi and I saw.
Yep.
That went down up on the east side of Cleveland between Hillsdale and then Tiff and Calvert. I mean, the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys of this game. Just break down for the folks what it was that we saw where Hillsdale, they come flying out of the gates, man.
Yeah.
The Falcons, I thought they were a shoo-in after what we saw for the first couple of innings. And then slowly but surely the Senecas, they were able to track them down, walk-off hit for a birthday boy.
Yeah, this was a battle of 2 great offenses. Hillsdale, 2 home runs in the first inning. 5-0. They knocked out their starting pitcher, the number 2 pitcher, immediately. You're thinking, oh, man, they got to go to the bullpen already. They're going to, just keep it going. But the kid out of the bullpen really did a good job, kept them in it. And
Mason Johnson, shout out.
And Calvert just kept chipping away. Scored 2 in the bottom of the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fifth. They end up tying it up thanks to a bunt that got misplayed at home plate. Walked another one in to tie the game on a bases-loaded walk. And then, they held Hillsdale to no runs in the top of the 7th inning. And the birthday boy, leadoff double off the fence, a base hit. They walked the bases loaded. And then Mr. Otterbacher, who was being pinch hit for the whole time, DH for, comes in.
How do you like that?
Line drive base hit through the left side to win it, send him to state. That was a great game.
It was definitely like movie-esque. You can't really write a script quite like that because, like you mentioned, this is what we're seeing. Back-to-back dingers. There's no outs. Hillsdale's got 5 runs already, and like I said, it just felt like the game was over. It felt like already Calvert was going to be a little bit deflated, but they never, ever were. They slowly chipped away, too. They never really hung a crooked number. They're getting a run here. 2 runs at one point, but then Hillsdale was even dropping some as well, keeping the
And
margin.
Hillsdale made some great defensive plays. This game could have been tied a lot earlier in the game, but Hillsdale had 2 plays at the plate that they got outs on. They threw a guy out at third, I think in the 3rd inning, so that's 3 more runs. This game could have been tied in the 3rd or 4th inning, but, they kept it close. Finally, Calvert, they just kept hitting the ball, getting those runs, chipping away, and then getting the outs that they needed to walk it off in the 7th inning. It was a really great game for people that like offense.
Would you say that you felt more bad for Hillsdale about the way that it went down, or more excited for Tiffin Calvert that they were able to overcome that really deep hole and get a big victory?
I think it's more towards Calvert because Hillsdale, they kept the foot on the gas. They kept scoring. They scored 2 runs in an inning, another run in another inning, but it was just Calvert they did not go away. They didn't get down after a half inning, and, like I said, the reliever comes in and really keeps them in that game, and they just kept believing in themselves. So I go towards more towards Calvert. Hillsdale gave it their best shot. They looked like the best team after that half inning, and they kept trying to go for it, but Calvert just slowly starting getting that momentum, slowly starting matching them, and they overtook them. It was great for both sides.
It's just one of those years, too, for this graduating class of 2022. I mean, Garrett Spahn was the birthday boy. I don't even think we've mentioned him by name yet. Of course, he all-Ohio basketball player, first-teamer, go all the way to the regional championship there. And so your same name, G-Man, gets a birthday gift with scoring the game-winning run. Can you ever think of a moment where you played in a game on your birthday, or that you ever got, like, a really awesome present that just kind of, it just happened like the universe handed you something? Not necessarily a gift, but you earned it.
I think this was before. I think it was the day before my birthday. I was probably 12 years old, and I played for. This is when I used to live in Loudonville. My dad was a coach, and he was.
I'm telling you, we could beat him.
My dad was a coach. He was a third base coach, and we were down to our arch rival. I don't know if you guys remember Jeb Grover.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
I used to go up against him in baseball all the time, and it was Lucas. We were always rivals with him. We were playing them, and they were up 1 in the bottom of the 7th. We were at home. I went up to plate 2 outs. I think I hit a double. Of course, I was the bigger guy, so I mean, it was a far
Not
shot.
surprising.
I mean, I was a great baseball player. I'll tip my own cap. I was a really good player, actually, and I probably could have scored on it, but I was so fat that I got a double. But anyway, moving on. Logan Fisher was the cleanup hitter there. He hit a gap shot, and Dad sent me home. Play at the plate. It was like out of a movie. They slid the tag on me. Dust flew in the air. I looked up. Ump called me safe. Dad came running down, picked me up. That's probably one of the most memories that I remember out of Little League baseball, and I guess it kind of was on my birthday, day before.
Wow. So before I heard that story, I was totally counting you, Storm and G-Man's dad, out of the conversation for getting that win against Triway. But now that I know that you have that in your background, I think I'm starting to change my mind. You got to see a new addition to the OH.Report family, Wayne Dell, make a regional championship run. What did you learn about the Golden Bears now that we're now a part of their journey? And how did they get to going to the State Final Four?
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about them all year. I talked to some of the other media guys when we were up there, and they said that I don't think they lost a game since early April, I believe. And it was April 10th around there. And I think it was maybe Norway. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they're on like a 20-game win streak, man, and they don't really beat you with a ton of great pitching. It's more just like they play such great situational baseball, and they're so good on the base paths. Their coach is very good when deciding when to send somebody and when to not to. They put up 8 runs in both games I covered. The first one was against Youngtown, Ursuline. And then the second one, they put up 8 and won that one 8-2. But both times, Dylan Raber, the first game, he had 4 RBIs with 4 hits. And then another Raber, Josiah Raber, the catcher, he had 2 triples and 2 RBIs in that second game. So they've had some guys step up for them big time and really help them out and get them going on the base paths. But I talked to you guys before. Do they stand a chance against the pitcher that might be getting drafted?
That's the question.
In
You
the
said
MLB?
that they don't really blow you away with their pitching
Right.
per se. Well, they're about to go up against a guy who is going to blow
Possibly
them
if they
away.
pitch him, yeah.
Tell them about him, Trava. This kid probably is going to be at least in the minor leagues next year.
I saw him against Northmore in the district championship game. His name is Jacob Miller from Liberty Union High School. The 18-year-old is the 44th ranked player in the MLB draft out of everybody, college, high school players.
Wow.
He is the 5th rated high school pitcher out of everybody. He hits 95 to 97 constantly. He threw 99 against Northmore, and he has a slider that falls off the face of the flippin' earth. This thing is nasty. And, Northmore, a couple foul balls. They had 2 little dink hits. But honestly, the coach even said before the game, if anybody gets a hit off of him, you get a steak dinner. That's how good he was.
And nobody was chomping on
look at the
steak
ball.
that night.
No,
I
nobody.
mean, the
no
ball's in
T-bones
the
in that
catcher's
pictures.
mitt when he's got all respect to our Golden Knights.
I mean,
but that ball's
in high
his
school,
glove
I
before they
faced
swing.
85 in high school, and that was fast. Think about facing 99.
How much of it is like psychologically, like even be like just, this guy pitches 97. Good luck.
Yeah,
It's
Like, go
literally you have to just pick a spot
Just swing.
before he throws it and swing there
It's
as
just
early as you
roulette.
can and hope it makes contact. That's literally what it is in high school, unless you are like an Avery Fisher or somebody like that that's playing in the college level right now that can hit that stuff. You literally have to pick a spot and swing. Rajay Davis against Aroldis Chapman. He just picked a spot and knocked
I
it
would
out.
just close my
Sometimes
eyes.
you get lucky. Sometimes you look like you look very embarrassing.
David Spade off of is that the actor's name off of Benchwarmers?
The
When he
Benchwarmers.
goes- When he goes up there and he's shaking
me.
his back.
That's
Yeah.
me.
But it's just you very rarely see somebody with this talent at this level, especially in Division III. Usually you get these prospects in D1 and D2, but no, he's at Liberty Union, a D3 school down in Baltimore, and he is just lighting things up. And I was told by a media member that covers them, after the season, he's getting flown out to L.A. because the Dodgers want to work him out. And when you're rated 44th, you could jump into the first. This could be a first-round draft pick that we are witnessing and that you and I will be witnessing possibly in the state Final Four on Thursday, Brian.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to seeing this kid. Obviously, he throws that gas, man. He's an equipment manager's nightmare because he's putting dents in the bats out there, and them things ain't cheap. So I guess I'll just leave it up to you, G-Man, to answer this. I just want one sentence. Golden Bears, do they got a shot?
If he's pitching, I don't think so.
Okay.
Now in the
Tell him
regional,
there's a chance.
now in the regional, both teams in the regional scored on Liberty Union. So I don't know if it really comes down to that's what Northmore was really betting on is can we play a perfect defensive game and keep this 0-0 and get him out, kind of like what Edison did to Cade Carpenter. They got his pitch count out and walked off in the bottom of the 8th inning. Now, if you can stick with them, you can keep the zeros on the board on both sides. Pitch count's going to come into, you work the count a little bit, pitch count comes into it, and then maybe get to their bullpen. That's probably going to be the best way to get to them.
If you have to play a perfect game to beat a team, that's a little scary, I think.
That's how
The
upsets happen,
The
though.
only thing about Wayndale is how I mentioned they're very good. Like in situations when you count them out, they like just
thrive on
bunting
that.
and stealing when they're supposed to. Like they're just so situationally good. So
Kind of
maybe
like
if they
they
can
don't even need to make.
manufacture-
They don't
right.
even need to get a hit.
If
to
they just maybe
score,
get a bunt,
like
get a
bunt
guy on
single, yeah.
base, and see what they can do, then
That's exactly what you'll need to beat a pitcher like
Right.
that.
so I think they have a shot. I don't know though. It's hard to pick against a guy that may be getting drafted in the first round.
All right, well, let's turn our attention to Akron now, where the, state baseball championships are going to be going down. But softball was taken over this past weekend. We had 3 local teams make it to the Final Four. Only one would bring home the big trophy. So let's talk about the 2 stories that didn't end with that fairy tale that you all dream about when you're a high school player. Couple Final Four losses. Let's begin with you, Storm. Talk to me about Cardington and how the pirate ship got shot down just short of the state finals.
Yeah, well, there were actually 2 pirate ships going at it, actually, ironically. That was really fun to write that story because you could never say the Pirates. You always had to write down the school name. But Wheelersburg, the Lady Pirates over there, ended up winning versus Cardington Lincoln 5-2.
Who are Cardington Lincoln?
Lady Pirates.
Lady
Arr.
Pirates.
Thank you.
Battle of Pirates.
Both Lady Pirates. They're both pirates. We got 2 pirate teams going at it. The Pirates won 5-2 over the Pirates.
Pirates.
Go
And,
Buccos.
I really thought that it was going to be a little bit closer than that. Cardington Lincoln came out with a 2-run bomb in the first bottom of the first inning, I think, and I was like, "Wow, we got a game here. It's 2-1. We're in for it." And then Cardington Lincoln just couldn't hit the ball anymore. I really don't know what happened to them. They couldn't put runs up, and Wheelersburg took advantage with some runs of their own. But they never had any crazy plays or anything. They were just like, we're going to show up, we're going to put our work in, and we're going to get it done. And that's exactly what they did. And they ended up taking home the state title, which is exciting for them. So, hey, for a school I didn't even know existed, way to go.
Hey,
Hey.
yeehaw.
Pirates won.
The Pirates
Yeah.
won.
Pirates won.
Pirates
Oh,
won
yeah.
state final.
Sometimes losing to the eventual state champion, teams will take some solace in that. I think
Eventually,
maybe Hayden, didn't that happen to you in football? Maybe losing to a team that would go on to grab a chip? Did you feel good about it, I guess is my question.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you feel
Be-
good,
better?
really
maybe is the
good,
word?
but you at least
Yeah,
feel
respect.
Some, yeah,
Yeah.
you feel some dignity in that loss.
Well, in
for
that
sure.
game, too, there's a couple plays that go the other way that don't happen, and they're probably winning the state championship, too. So you kind of feel a little – I mean, if we're talking about the game at Massillon against Steubenville, if Brennan doesn't get stripped at the 5-yard line, they go in for a score.
Yeah.
I think the more of the what-ifs also pop up as well. If something like that happens. If you get beat by a team by a couple scores, and then you see they win a title, you're like, okay, we at least kept with it. But then I guess on the other side, you could also say we were this close. We could have, if this would have went this way, the could have, would have probably keep in your brain for a while too.
Yeah.
Is that what?
Yeah, for sure. I think now, this many years later, just the experience of being there and playing there is what I'll look back on. And, yeah, I think it's a good memory. But, yeah, right then it was like,
So speaking of the could-haves, would-haves, I think that's kind of the story for Hillsdale,
Yes.
Trav, the most decorated program in the history of the state. I think that's okay to say for a
Third,
small school.
third most state championships. At least small school too. Them and Strasburg
They
are
get to
winning
Final
state
Four every
championship.
other year.
Yeah, that's what
Every
we were
other
looking
year,
at that.
statistically.
17 state Final Four appearances since 1978.
Crazy.
That is literally every 1 or 2 years. I think they only had like a 5-year hiatus twice since 78.
That was called a slump for them.
That was called a slump. But, you know, the Lady Falcons, after everything was said and done, I was talking to the players and coaches, and they're like, you honestly have to realize they're a year ahead of time. The players that they have, they're only losing Lacey Fickus, their number 2 hitter. She was really good. She'll be playing in the All-Star game next week. But they have 2 All-Ohioans coming back and starting pitcher Taylor Morgan and Belle Doughton, who can just crush the ball. She had a home run in the districts at Firestone. She hit one off the top of the fence in the state Final Four. But it was just one bad inning against Lincoln View. Taylor Morgan, I'm not saying the umpire was bad. He was really consistent, but this umpire had a very small strike zone on both sides. And it hurt because Taylor still being a young pitcher couldn't adjust enough to keep the ball inside. So there were a couple close ball 4 calls in this inning that helped set up the 4 running for Lincoln View. If she can just adjust and get a little bit more inside, she might get the call. But that's something, you know, that's youth showing as well. But Lincoln View gets 4. Hillsdale fights back. It's 2 in the 6th inning, but just couldn't finish things off. But like I said, they return 8 starters. They return 4 of their first 5 hitters, especially their leadoff, their second leadoff, Doughton in the 4 spot, Morgan in the 5 spot. So they could, well, I think they will be back next year because they returned 8 of 9 starters. It was a tough game, but then Lincoln View showed that they could play with the best. Adam, if you could roll the final play of that state championship game against Strasburg. Strasburg's up 3-0 going into the 7th. 2 outs. There's a base. There's a walk, and then an error. Setting up first and second, brings a tying run. Another single made it 3-1 in favor of Strasburg. And then, if we can get this video up here, we'll show you the final play of the game, which was absolutely crazy. So Hillsdale actually, you know, we thought Lincoln View, they are one of those Cinderella stories, but they actually came so close to winning a state championship.
So sometimes that glass slipper, I mean, it's a decent fit, but the big toe just a little bit snug maybe, and not perfectly on there. So great run for the Falcons, and even better for Lincoln View getting to the finals and then losing in a heartbreaking fashion, even though that might even sting worse.
You want to know what the coolest thing I think I saw, though, was? Honestly.
Cestal.
It was the game before my game. I don't even know who was playing. I really don't. But it's all about taking it all in, you know? Like, how many times do you get to play on that kind of stage? I saw a girl take home a bag of sand. I thought that was so rad.
That's cool.
I was like, yeah, that's really cool. Like, I would have never have thought to have done that, but it's like, you'll remember that for the rest of your life. You're playing on, that is like the biggest stage you could play on probably, unless you're like going D1 or whatever. But I was like, that's really rad, you know?
I agree. Like, I think that was my first time ever going to that ballpark, and like, even though you're not competing, where they're just covering it, yeah, it's kind of cool to walk into that type of environment and take it all in. And I had heard a couple people saying too, like, they wish it was utilized more for maybe a neutral site for some big games that get signed up, because I mean, they only use it for this during the year.
Yeah. Does anyone else play there?
They do have a pro team,
The Akron Racers, I don't know if they're still
but maybe
a team
Rubber Ducks
playing.
not
Rubber
anymore.
Ducks is
No.
baseball.
No.
Is that?
So that'll be where we'll be this week for baseball. But that's, I know they did have a pro team. I don't know if they're still doing it. Also, next year, they're actually, in July, they're going to make it all turf. So there won't be any more rain delays or, postponements.
See,
If
would
there's
hope
not a
it's getting
storm
some
playing,
use. Like, if they're going to take
Right.
the time and invest.
Is it only a softball field? Or
yeah, it's softball. You might be able to see, like, Little League games being played there as well, but it's strictly a
I think it's
softball
cool.
field. It's perfect venue.
Yeah, it's
The
great.
parking is not great.
No,
but
parking could
Break
use some
down on
help.
the
Parking
street,
could
man.
use some
Yeah.
help, but
I'd actually walk like 10 minutes to get to my game. It was horrible.
Yeah.
forbid.
Yeah, well, I noticed you were looking a little bit thinner in here today. Well, a team that basically had the same exact story that you're talking about, Hillsdale being ahead of schedule, the Triway Lady Titans, they had some unfinished business to take care of, and maybe the most unshocking result of the weekend, that's right, the Titans took home the whole enchilada. The best softball team that I saw all year, period, and I'm going to assume that any of us saw with our own eyes the best softball team, because we saw this team undefeated at the Wendy's Classic, and I immediately, after they had the beatdown that we saw there, beating one of our local teams, the next week I contacted their coach and I was like, it's very obvious to me you guys are a state championship contender, probably the best team in the state. We need to follow your journey, and I'm so happy that we did. 8 of their 9 starters are going to be playing college softball. One of them that's not probably could. She just wants to go into academics. So this is a team loaded beyond anything that I've ever seen personally. So that's what I wanted to kind of voice to you guys and get some opinions. Have you seen in any sport a team that has this many high caliber players all playing at the same time? The only other comparison of a team that I've covered here recently was the 2019 Tigers that sent those 4 kids football-wise to play D1, and we see a couple of them now are some studs at the D1 level playing in places like the Big Ten. Outside of them, I can't think of too many other comparisons, G, and you saw this team more than anybody else. I mean, they were unreal.
Yeah, to answer your question, no. And I go back to that same team that you were talking about in 2019, but there were still a couple holes on that team, and it showed in that state final, in that championship game up in Canton. So to answer the question, Tri-Way from top to bottom, I don't think there was a bad player on the squad. Everybody can hit, everybody can field, everyone can defend. They never got too down. They're always on top of each other, cheering each other on. They're the best team that I've covered the last 3 years that I've been doing this, and I don't really think it's close, to be completely honest. This team, not one single flaw, really from top to bottom. So no.
We talking just high school?
Yes.
Yeah, I think just at the high school
I was
ranks.
about to say the 2018 Warriors, but high school wise, no, never seen a team like that.
So if you're put in that conversation with Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson,
Carter
Draymond,
Wong.
obviously you're of the elite. Of the
I would
elite.
argue to say that top to bottom Tri-Way is better.
Yeah.
From 1 through 9.
They have no
all the way
Draymond
through.
Green to slowing them down. So
And talking a little bit, Hayden, before the podcast
Yeah.
started, their picture, Carter Wachtel, who she's probably got so many college offers that she doesn't even disclose who's all contacting her. She throws pitches unlike anybody that I got the chance to see this year. It just looks different. She's just different than anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about the way she twists and curves the ball when she pitches it, and then when I was up there in their semifinal game on Thursday, I'm talking with a couple of the other media members, just the way she utilizes the pitching mound is so unlike some of the other pitchers that you're seeing up there at that caliber of level. It's obvious that once she enters that circle, I mean, that's like it's time to go to work, and she just uses it in a way her whole body's finishing towards the front. And she makes it look effortless. You don't see fatigue phase her at all. She always looks like it's the beginning of a game. And we were talking too. She pitches 15 strikeouts on Thursday and then adds 10 more in the state title. So 25 strikeouts in 2 days. And Travis, I know you and I were saying, I believe 15 ties a single
Tournament
game
record
tournament
for the Final
record.
Four, yeah.
So, yeah, and I think for someone like her, season is just getting started or continuing. I'm sure her travel team in Georgia is getting ready to start off soon, if not
That's
already.
what they were telling us in the post
Yeah.
game. Yeah. So what's next for you guys? Yeah, we got travel bars
plane
starting next
tomorrow.
week.
So, just she's the best female. I mean, I haven't been covering sports with the OH.Report for as long as some of us, but I mean, she's the best female athlete I've personally covered across all sports.
Wow. High praise, because let's go ahead and turn the page now and talk about state track and field, where we had a girl from just one county over kind of steal the show in Division III, didn't she?
Yeah, Colonel Crawford's Katie Ruffner. I mean, I don't know what to say. Just unbelievable performance by her. I wasn't down there for day one when she set her own personal record in the 100-meter hurdles,
Which
she
is
would
a state record, by the way.
Yeah, which she would then one up and reset her own record on Saturday morning. And that was her first event. She took home gold in the 100-meter hurdles. And then talking with her afterwards, she couldn't even get on the podium yet because she had to get ready for the 100-meter dash, which she then placed third in. So you'd think, man, already a solid day for her. But that wasn't enough. She had to go get one more state championship for herself, go out there and just wasn't even close in the 300-meter hurdles. She did say that was the race mentally that she was preparing herself more for, knowing that she would actually have to race against these girls. Yeah, and she still goes out, gets first place.
Look how far ahead she is
away.
of the field.
I mean, the speed's impeccable, the form, and I think that's one of the reasons why she's going to be going on to the college level for Iowa State after this year, competing there. I think a couple things she still has coming up as a New Balance Nationals. She actually said that she wasn't satisfied with her time in the 300. That wasn't the goal she was going for. So she was one of those too, that it was all business. Just she was basking in the moment, but ready to keep perfecting her craft. And then she was also a big part of the reason I believe she brought home, I think it was, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was 22 or 24 of the team's total 32 or 35 points that won the state championship.
What were the places? 2 firsts and what?
Yeah, 2 firsts and a third for her.
So she basically
26.
single-handedly won
She
a
basically
26
won the
then.
state championship.
championship.
And
Backpack.
just another thing about her, I mean, she just gave all glory to everyone that was down there with her too. Not taking a single ounce of solo credit on this thing. What was also extremely cool to see with that is in 2 of those races, Shelby Grover from Lucas.
She'll be back.
Yeah, she's just a junior too. She took second right behind Ruff during the 100-meter hurdles. She doesn't run the 100-meter dash, and then in the 300-meter hurdles, she took third. And it was super cool to see 2 athletes only separated by a little bit of geographical distance. I mean, right after both races, hugging each other, embracing each other. So great performance from them. And a few other notable people from around the area. Caden Allen, just a junior as well, over from Plymouth. He's he's writing record books over at Plymouth, not known for their track and field. He took home third in the 100-meter dash, so that was extremely impressive. South Central, Carson Music took home 6th in the 400, and then they win the 4x1, their squad. And then a couple people that I wasn't able to stick around to see that I really wish I could have, but huge shout out to Mansfield Senior, Mo Ware taking 2nd in the high jump, Emil Upchurch taking 6th, and then Isaac Brooks having a solid day as well. He took, I believe it was 6th in his race in the 300-meter hurdles. So, I mean, just loaded talent from around the area, and it was a fantastic venue having it back at Jesse Owens.
Got to shout out East Knox.
Yes, East Knox as well.
The
I cannot
4x8 Nathan Strebe running with one shoe
and his foot, yeah.
and
yeah.
That is a cool
catching one shoe right off the start. He got spiked, lost the shoe. They were in 9th place at the time, and
Yeah.
he's running. He burned a hole through his sock, blisters
I can
on his
confirm that
foot.
foot was messed up.
Yeah, lost skin on the foot, and somehow caught one person, finished 8th, so East Knox could
Yeah.
make it on the podium for all Ohio.
It was impeccable.
And then he finished 2nd in the 800-meter dash.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if it was before.
It was
Probably
before.
It was before. But still, he finishes that and then runs with one shoe, catches a guy, and gets 8th place for East Knox. I messaged on Twitter the athletic director down there. I said, you need to take the shoe, you got to put it into the trophy case, because that's a memory that he's going to remember forever. I ran
For
on
those
Jesse
of us-
Owens in one shoe, busted my foot up, and still was able to
Legendary.
finish 8th for a podium spot for East Knox. That was crazy. And then also, well, go ahead first.
I said, for those of us who don't know, what happened to the shoe? Did he just choose not to race with the shoe?
No.
No,
He had the
okay.
shoe under, but
Trying
one,
a new
I think
style.
when they
That's
handed
what
off the stick,
It
one of his
came off.
teammates spiked him, so it got
Party
caught
foul.
on the back of his
Party-
shoe, and his shoe
party
came
foul.
off right as he started. So he
Gave him a
still
little
ran the
healy.
whole lap, or the whole 2
Yeah,
laps.
and that track was
in one
was
sock.
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
I just didn't know. I didn't know if he just decided that he was going to try to beat everyone with one shoe.
Well,
Show
he
off.
beat one
Yeah.
guy.
Would have been way more
Yeah.
impressive.
He's a showman.
And then staying with it also, Brian and I were watching as we were covering baseball. Kenneth Stimmel from Margaretta,
Yes.
the pole vaulter, she broke the state record. She has a new state meet record, broke the Margaretta girls pole vault record, passed the boys pole vault record, and barely missed on the national, the NFHS record. But she did get the Ohio record and everything else like that. She finished 6.25 inches at the pole vault. Wow.
Yeah.
She's going to Virginia Tech to jump as well, but
I mean,
great
I gotta-
job by her.
I got to say, overall, I mean, even outside of our area, it was just impeccable. Some of the records that were being broken there, I believe it was a kid from Pickerington Central broke the new 100-meter dash
He did.
all-time record, 10:35. Which, yeah, if
I
you
bet
don't know
Gene
track
Storm
and
could eat
field
a
that well,
cheeseburger that fast, but not run now.
I don't know how a human moves that fast.
Quick.
I don't know about
That'd be a
that,
fun
Trav.
competition, actually.
And so, I mean, the boys has been going for 114 years. So to break 114-year-old records,
Wow.
Amen
pretty
to that.
impressive.
And last shout out, Zayden Fry of Mohawk, back
Yes,
to back
yes.
state
Yep.
championships in the pole vault. He's still got one more year to go. So kudos to that kid. Well, two of those All-Ohioans that you mentioned from right here in our own backyard of Mansfield Senior will have the opportunity one day, if they so choose, to play an event that is coming up this Saturday, the first ever Tigers Hoops Alumni Classic, and the gentleman responsible for putting the entire thing together joining us right here and now. We appreciate you hanging. I know that you've been in the green room for a while. What's up, Roy Mack? How you doing, bud?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Hey, doing great. Doing great. Glad that you could join us here today on the OH.Report Video Podcast. And before we talk about the Tiger game, let's go ahead and talk about your brand. Tell the folks about Brolic Elite and what it is that you do and what are you bringing to the table here as far as apparel?
Brolic Elite is a brand I started about 10 years ago, 11 years this October. Started out as individual wear, just trying to provide something affordable, and comfortable. And then it ended up, blossoming into me being able to provide team apparel, which is really what I'm focused on now. I can do uniforms for any sport, any age group, any size, basketball, football, soccer, you name it. You need them, Brolic can get it done. So pretty excited about where the brand is going.
Yeah, and it's all custom joints. You do just exactly what the team is looking for, and it's unique, one of one. It's not like going and getting like a Nike or an Under Armour. They are getting something that is just unique to them, right?
Absolutely. When I work with somebody about, the uniforms, they definitely get exactly what they want, from colors to logos to numbers. Anything that you need, any combination that you need, I can definitely provide it. And I think that gives me a big advantage, being able to give people a lot more choices. You can upgrade your style, your color, everything with Brolic. It's not a lot of other brands, they kind of starting to look the same, and I want Brolic to be able to stand out and, be able to give the people exactly what they want when they come to me for an order.
Yeah, I know the OH.Report crew, we definitely got to get involved, man. We got to get us some gear. You're going to need a lot of fabric, though, to cover some of these bodies that we have here.
We got some real men.
A lot of foodies here on the staff, but we'd be happy to get hooked up with some cool new merch. But let's go ahead and talk about, well, first these unis right here that you put together for the All-Star game. That was a pretty cool event, and we definitely like the swag and what you were able to bring in terms of the look for that game.
Yeah, that was big shout out to Jake Fur. Jake gave me the opportunity to do that, and I had to take advantage of it. A lot of it came from that opportunity, that he gave me. So I definitely always want to acknowledge him. And I had been watching the News Journal game for years, and always, even before I could do team apparel, I always had something to say about the uniforms. So once I was able to provide this, I made a post on Facebook. Somebody tagged him in it, and we started talking, and we worked everything out. And uniforms came out great. They was great. The boys liked them. Got a lot of compliments about them. Also had the opportunity to do some celebrity game uniforms here in Columbus for a big HBCU classic that we had here in Columbus. Shout out to Johnny Clark for that. For mentioning my name. That he mentioned my name in a room I wasn't even in for that opportunity, and that's what you need when you're a small brand and you're trying to establish yourself, and you need people that want to see you win. People that want to see you win help you win, so that was big.
Yeah, well, word of mouth is everything when you're trying to get something small and turn it into something big, like what we got going on here at the OH.Report. It started with just a little Facebook page, and now we're trying to go on to bigger and better things here, including being a part of your event this Saturday, man. I can't tell you how much we're looking forward to seeing this Tiger alumni game. Give the folks about some details about how this all came together.
Well, I think as a small community, we need to you need to find your own way to contribute or help out. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. Just find your thing that you want to do, to help out and contribute to something positive. And this was my way. Basketball is kind of my avenue when it comes to Mansfield. So, I had, again, just made a post, threw it out there to see if I can get any reactions on it. that it was time for senior high to have an alumni game. Surprisingly, people jumped on it. A lot of comments, a lot of shares. Talked with Coach Sykes. He was all for it, and started reaching out to players. This first one will be a little older. This is more of the veteran group, but years to come, the next years to come, it'll be younger. It'll get a lot more exciting. We got a lot of former Tigers that are still very, very athletic and still playing. So, next few years is theirs, but this first one is for the old guys and the old gals. So we're gonna get out there and try and have some fun, compete. Hopefully everybody leaves injury-free, which is
Right.
which is really big. When you're talking about the elder statesmen of the city. So, it's this Saturday at 4:00 at Senior High. $5 at the door. 100% of the ticket sales go to Senior High basketball. So that's big too. And this is my way of trying to help them out. Coach Sykes has been absolutely great to me. He was able to put his kids in, some bralette this season too. I did some uniforms for them, some sweatsuits, and stuff like that. So that was major. That was literally my first high school that I was able to get in my brand. So that was like a really, really big moment. And then just recently, as recent as maybe 2 days ago, I just finalized the deal with senior high football. I'm doing their 7-on-7 here. So that should be here probably within the next 2 weeks. So shout out to Coach Bradley on that, man. He reached out to me and gave me a big opportunity. Him and Fred Ty reached out, and I was ready for it because I had been wanting to do something for senior high football for a while too. And, hopefully other schools too. Hopefully other schools will give me a chance once they see what I can do. And, I can go ahead and dress them too. But, yeah, the alumni game is going to be something fun. Should be fun. Should be extremely comical. Hope everybody comes in and just has a good time, get to laugh and go live on your phone, take your pictures and, just make it a real, real fun event, and something we can bring the community together and do something positive for the kids too.
We'll break down some of these elder statesmen. Who are some top dogs that their game's still sharp? They might be a few elevated in years, but they still play and get out there on the court. Who are you expecting to have a good performance?
Oh man, we got a number of people actually that could get out there and put on the show, man. We got shooters from senior high great Ahmed Kent. DePriest Owens is playing, leading scorer. He still gets up and down. George Palmer, big time shooter. Antoine Reynolds, Tommy Murphy. We got some ladies that might be able to fill it up too. Kania Williams is playing. Dion Goodwin is playing. Nisa Lindsay's playing. My best friend, Jerry Moten, he'll be out there. He's a big-time scorer, always been a big-time scorer. So, I know I'm forgetting some people, but, there's some people that can fill it up. I definitely think it's going to be a whole lot of threes shot.
Oh, yeah.
Might look like NBA a little bit.
Where would you say that you fall in this conversation? You still keeping your jumper online? Your game doing okay?
Yes.
I still play a little bit. I do more working out than playing. I can put it. I can put the ball in the hole when I need to. I've always been more of a all-around type of player. Try to give some of everything. You know what I'm saying? So I'll definitely make my mark in the game. The way that the rosters are set up, it's coming in. You want it to be a very, very fun event, but the way these rosters are set up, it can get real serious real fast. So, we'll see, if that competitive fire kicks in and, somebody might get to talking a little bit too much or, we'll see how that goes. But it definitely has the potential to be very, very entertaining.
With that cast of characters that you named, there's definitely going to be a lot of chirping on the floor. That is a guarantee. If you come out to senior high on Saturday, you're going to see some good trash talking. There's some other teams in the area, too, some programs, I should say, that they do something similar with alumni games. Lexington is one that definitely sticks out to me. But Tiger Hoops, that's kind of a brand here in North Central Ohio. If you guys got all your players together against the other area schools in Richland County, you think anybody can compete, or are you guys head and shoulders above the rest?
No, it wouldn't be no competition, and you can you can invite you to send us to anybody that wants some. Like when it comes to that, even if we want to go with the elders, like nobody in our area is gonna mess with senior high, and they know it. And if they want to try it, they can contact me, and we can set up a game, and do it for a positive cause. But we'll run through anybody. I can promise you that.
Let's clip that, Hayden. Put that out on the Twitter so you can
Yeah,
call them out.
yeah.
Going back to
You
the
can
athletic
put that.
brand for a second, Roy. Travis here.
Mhm.
5 years down the road, where do you see? What's your goal for Brolic?
Well, the goal has always been I modeled Brolic after the big boys. When I say the big boys, I'm talking about the Nikes, the Under Armours, the Adidas, stuff like that. So that was kind of my motto. I looked at them and how they did things. The only thing I can't offer that they have is shoes. So 5 years down the line, like I would really like to, for one, have, my area, my hometown area in Brolic. Um, I'm gaining some traction here in Columbus. I got a couple of people here that's going to give me an opportunity to, dress their kids for the schools. And, I just want the brand. I want the brand to be as big as it can. I don't want to limit it, or put any holes on it. I want it to grow and grow. And then hopefully get to the point where, I can provide opportunity for other people as far as employment, and, leave something here for my kids. Like this is something that I put a lot into, probably not 10 years consistently, but definitely the last 6 have been consistent, and the work has showed with the progress that I've made. So, I go hard for this brand, man. I want the best of it. I really want to see what it can do on a national scale. I've reached out to semi-pro teams. I have a couple of them interested in me doing uniforms for them. I want to get into, like I said, the high school. Ultimately, hopefully I'll be able to do a college, some college gear and stuff like that. So there's no limit. There's no limit. 5 years down the line, I want when people see that logo and that name, I want them to know exactly what it is and exactly what they're getting when they deal with me.
That's awesome. G-Man, Stormy, you have any questions?
Yeah, so you talked a little bit about the future there. I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the past, Just talk to me about some of the struggles as just a startup company can have. I'm sure it's not always easy kind of doing your own thing and going a different direction than everyone else. So just talk to me about, how you're able to pursue it and stay with it even through those hard times.
Well, I've definitely been through the hard times. I was off and on those early years. The hardest thing is honestly just getting people to give you a chance, because anybody that's gotten Brolic uniforms or Brolic apparel, period, like they know that it's legit when they get it. The issue can be just them giving you the opportunity. So once you get the opportunity, of course you got to take advantage of it. It's tough, man. You hear a lot. You gotta always say that, this type of grind ain't for the weak. You'll hear a lot of stuff about yourself, your brand. People look at your brand different when they know you, like the people that, have access to you. They don't look at you like you're, an official brand. It's like, oh, it's, just something that he's doing. So you gotta have thick skin, and it really gotta be something that you want. A lot of people get into things, trying to chase a buck. But when I got into this to really build something. So my motivation was always there. My kids are my motivation, my son and my daughter. I get great support. I got people in Mansfield that have supported me from day one. Even when my gear wasn't up to par, they still would come and purchase stuff and, make their post about it. And, I make posts randomly about, thanking them and stuff like that. So, the ups and downs will come. And it's just something that you got to want, man. You got to want it more than anybody could want it for you. And it's definitely tough. It's definitely tough, man, especially in this market where people have the option to go to Nike or they have the option to go to Adidas or Under Armour. Those are established mainstream options. But to the people that, give Brolic a chance, man, they've been satisfied from top to bottom. So, You know, hopefully that'll continue. And you know, you need those tough times to grow. You know, you got to have those. You can't avoid them. You know, I see people all the time try to avoid the ups and downs. You know, from not having the funding to getting the funding, and then, you know, something not working out the way that you hoped it would, or, you know, I mean, I can remember times where what I sold fed me and my daughter. Like, that's just how serious it was, you know. So, you know, I definitely should look into writing a book, you know, with some of the things that I've been through, you know, with the business. But, you know, to answer your question, man, it's definitely tough, but you got to want it. And that's with anything in life, man. You got to want it. If you want it, go after it. You know, you get one shot at this thing called life, man. And I didn't want to put nothing on the back burner. I didn't want to hold anything back. I wanted to get it. And now I'm starting to be able to see what Brolic can be. You know, I got to, you know, keep learning as a businessman. I got to keep making my situation better. But, yeah, it's definitely headed in the right direction.
That all we got? All right, well, coming up on Saturday, man, really looking forward to being involved with the event. We're going to have a live stream with Tigers great. Greg Collins is going to be on the call with us here on the OH Report, but we want to get people in the building. That's what it's all about.
Greg. Shout out to Coach Collins.
Yeah. We bringing out the big guns for this, Roy.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Real quick, I want to give just a shout out by name. I'll give you guys more information when the event comes, but to the people that stepped up as sponsors for this event, because we definitely needed sponsors to make this happen. My guy Stanley Cameron at a Creative Action Agency, he's definitely anything I got going on, he reaches out to me and asks me, you know, how can he help? Mr. Caldwell at the Event Center, you know, he stepped up and definitely helped out. Allison Lindsay did her things. Like, she went above and beyond with her contribution. And a guy that y'all familiar with, Effie James.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Effie stepped up. Yeah, Effie stepped up, man, and wanted to help out, and he did. And I can't thank him enough for that. So, yeah, that was big. I just wanted to give him a shout out real quick.
Well, Effie's got to be one of those old hats that you get involved in the game in the future. I know he got his daughter's graduation party going on Saturday, and he can't come, but we got to see Coach back in the mix again.
You know what? I would at least like to get him on the sideline. Effie don't need to get on the court.
I see him posting up. I want to see him with a sky hook down
That's fair.
low.
That's fair. All right, so all tickets are going to be sold at the door for $5. Is that right, Roy?
Yeah, $5. $5. Real quick about Effie, though. I tell you what, man. When I was young, he was a little older than me. He was a player. Like, seriously.
I've heard the legend.
Yeah, Effie. Hey, don't get it twisted, man. Effie was a player. Yeah, I went to school with him. Like I said, he was like a year or two older than me, but yeah, Effie could go, man. He was tough. Yeah, it's $5 at the door. Game will start at 4:00. Mansfield Senior this Saturday. We want as many people to come out as possible, and like I said, just make it a fun event. And like I said before, this year it'll be a little older, and then every year after this will be younger and more exciting. And you know, I'll step out the way and, you know, let them young guys do their thing, man, which is something I'm really looking forward to seeing. So we definitely want as many people in the building. Thank you and your group for even live streaming it, man. When I reached out to you, you know, your support was immediate. So shout out to you for that, man. And I just want to have a good event every year that we can look forward to.
Yeah, happy to be a part of it, like I said, and if we can just even create more awareness that it's going down. And like you said, in these future years, I know there's still some bad boys out there playing some pro ball and some other former Tigers that if you get them in the game, man, it's going to get lit.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. We had some guys that just couldn't make it, you know, AAU schedules, you know, family obligations and stuff like that. You know, we had some players that really could have took these rosters up. You know, John Avery was one that he just couldn't make it. I really wanted John to play. Real good guy, former Tiger. I think they went to state his senior year. Tonio Graves, you know, who went to Pitt, had a great career overseas. Reached out to Rick Menard. Couldn't get in touch with Keon, but hopefully Keon in the future would be somebody that, you know, can be involved, you know. And then you go even younger, you know, the C.J. Simmons and Kwani Hillary, and there's some guys that next summer we want to get them on the floor, man. Let them go at it. It should definitely be something to see.
No doubt about it. All right, this Saturday, 4 p.m. at Senior High. Be there, and if you can't, make sure you watch the live stream on the OH Report. Roy Mack, I should say, the owner of Relic Elite, also the tournament event director. Thanks a lot for the time, man. Appreciate it.
All right, appreciate it, man. See y'all.
Man, really cool just to see local guys giving back to their community and starting something. Like he said, all the money that's being made for this game is going to be given back to the Tiger program. So I just think it's neat when people give back. He's living in Columbus now, but he's still trying to do his thing for Mansfield. I think that's awesome, man. Over at Arlen Field, something very similar going on this week, Hayden, something that you got to see yesterday. A lot of former Tigers in the house, some football greats.
Yeah, yesterday was a really cool day. So the Nike Next Generation football camps are going to be all over the country this summer. But one of their first camps is right here at Arlen Field in Mansfield. And another familiar Tiger face, Chokey Bradley, the camp director for this one. And, I mean, a lot of the stuff that we just heard resonates with this. And, having a chance to speak with Chokey yesterday, I must say, he's a guy that can instill some of that fear in you. But seeing him yesterday, the dude just had a smile on his face nonstop. I think just so happy to see so many of his own former players and some of the guys he coached against with his guys coming out for this. Some of the former Tigers, you had Angelo and Tyler Gross, Cameron Todd, Clay Caudle, and then some of the others that joined in as well from all over the place. A couple Ohio State Buckeyes. You had Denzel Burke, Zach Harrison, and Travion Henderson all showed out to help do some coaching for these kids. And you could just tell such a great experience for them and to have this here in the Mansfield community. That was one of the biggest things Chokey was talking about, is that it's just such a blessing to be able to put this on here. And, obviously the focus on the Mansfield community, but there's a lot of kids from surrounding areas in Richland County as well. Just getting the chance to come out and work with some of these guys that are currently playing at the college level. But then they also got a lot of veteran coaches too. Some of the coaches on the Mansfield coaching staff, but then inviting former Tiger players and former NFL greats. Hugh Douglas played for the Jets and the Eagles in his pro career. And then Jake Staley, he played for the Arizona Cardinals for a couple years. And they were back, sharing their veteran coaching experience and helping coach these kids up. And I talked to a couple of the guys as well, talking to Angelo. He just said it felt so good to be out there. It kind of felt like back when they were in high school, like he was a kid, just getting to run around with them, have fun. They got a DJ going, they got the music going, they had the grill going. So these guys, you could just tell, truly were, happy about the time that they were having out there. And it was just really cool. I when I went out, didn't know how long I stayed or was going to stay. And I ended up staying for almost like the whole day, just getting to talk with some of these guys. And see all the kids that showed out and were having a blast. So yeah, I mean, shout out to all of them for bringing this to Mansfield and all the great things that man right there is doing. He touched a little bit on, we were talking about Hugh Douglas and Staley, and he just said, Chokey, after his high school career, he had NFL aspirations for himself, and then just touched on the fact that, God had a different plan for his life, and he wanted to run with that, and that his opportunity was to help people, help his community. And it just put a smile on his face being able to do that. And so, yeah, day 2 was today. Weather changed things up a little bit, but then
right now.
Yeah, they're still about to wrap things up out there tonight. I know a few more new familiar faces up there today. Cade Stover, I know, popped out yesterday afternoon towards the end. He was there today. Couple more Buckeyes, and then day 3 is going to be tomorrow. So I know we may try and stop out there again, just bring as much attention as we can. And yeah, it's ages 8 through 18, so it's cool to see the high school kids all the way down to the young guns, and just really cool stuff.
A little something for everyone too. I saw you mentioned football, and then G-Man perks up. You mentioned there's a DJ, and then you get B on, the full attention, and then you said the grill was out, and I saw Storm. He almost fell off of his seat over here.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the grill. Can't lie.
Really?
Big shock, I know.
Summertime, nothing better than a little bit of grill action, some football, some music. Just looks like a good time out there. You guys have any memories of former players at your school, maybe a college athlete, even if they didn't go to your school, coming by and you just felt like it was something special? And did you get to go to any camps or have any experiences that have stuck with you your whole life, G-Man?
I never really got to talk to him, but growing up in Crestview, the big guy, the big football player there was Mason Minnick. I don't know if you guys remember him. at all.
Talked to him.
Of course.
Did a thing with him this year.
Eventually, I think he went on to play at AU.
Yep.
You probably know a little bit more about him because he was
Played at AU.
moved to Crestview, but then he went coached for the Dolphins. He was in the Dolphins organization, I believe, for something. But I never really got to meet him. There was no crazy, Ohio State Buckeye that I got to meet or anything like that. But Mason Minnick was pretty cool. Wish I would have got to meet him, but drafted.
I did over video call. Really cool guy. He's still rooting for the Cougars, and he watches whenever the Cougars are on the OH Report. So
Which is
that's awesome. He's still down in Florida, running. I forget what he's running right there. There we go.
How about
Hey,
that?
watch out. You look like you
I
lost
look
some weight.
terrible.
You really
Thank
do.
you.
You look like
Thank
you
you.
lost some
Appreciate
weight.
it.
Really do.
And I got a tan
Wow.
now too. Look how pale I was
Wow.
back in
Looking
back
sick
in
right now.
November.
Not trying to be
Fuck.
mean, but in that you look huge.
I know.
You look like you lost a lot of weight.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
black's
I
usually
appreciate it.
slimming.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I try.
Mason,
but-
if I recall, it was the first year that I covered high school sports in the area, or maybe it was the second. He was still playing, and there was another running back in the backfield
Aaron
that they were.
King?
Yeah, that they were both monsters. So Mason Minnick,
dog,
to
too.
me, was one of the first high school athletes that I covered for my job. That I was like,
Aaron
damn,
King
like
was my
this
coach.
this kid's going places. I think he ended up playing for. I don't think it was
It was,
AU.
yeah, it
He
was,
played for the D3 Power in Ohio.
Oh, Mount
Muskegon?
Vernon? Not Mount Vernon.
No, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the
Mount
Purple
Union.
Raiders or
Mount
whatever.
Union. Mount
Raiders,
Union.
right?
Mount
Mount
Union.
Union.
Yeah,
Won
and I'm
national
pretty sure he won like
championship
3
with them.
national
Yeah.
That
titles
always
and was
plays
a part of
school
that.
from Wisconsin.
Mount Union, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I didn't really have an athlete. There was one that I always looked up to named Jesse Knights. He was the first player that I watched dunk in a basketball game at our home gym, and I remember the first time that he came to an open gym that I was at. I was too intimidated to play, and I actually didn't step on the floor. I was like an 8th grader, and he was like 20 or something. But I was like, "Ooh, baby, that's Jesse Knights."
I think during a youth basketball camp when I was younger, if I'm not wrong, I think John Diebler came and was one of the coaches for a little bit. So I think that was pretty cool when I was actually a young kid. And then I can't lie. I mean, it was pretty fun talking to Travion Henderson yesterday. So I'll expose myself. I mean, that was pretty cool. I was pretty starstruck.
I'm pretty sure that Crestview played Upper Sandusky. My really good friend Johnny had some memories and some stories that he talked about those Diebler teams just putting up 120 on them or something. So
But they did that to everybody.
they did. Yeah, they
I'm
weren't
almost positive
exclusive.
LeBron played Crestview.
Yes, he did.
He played
Yes,
at least
he did.
on
He did.
Crestview his
100%.
freshman
And he
year or
dunked
something.
in our gym.
There's footage of it.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
They also-
Default
The
seed.
GOAT.
Their
That is
district was
crazy.
against Hillsdale and like Norway and those teams like
Dude,
that.
doesn't make any
like-
So those LeBron teams
Yeah.
probably scored 200. I mean, jeez.
Just leaving from Algebra 2 as a Crestview Cougar, and then you got to play
You'll
LeBron
play
later
LeBron.
that night.
Wow.
Well, that might be a comparison. LeBron's teams back then in the day versus Worcester Triway softball, and who maybe had the
Me,
most unique
G-Man, and
talent.
LeBron. 3 versus then
Okay,
Triway's
LeBron's found
9.
his
You
way
think
to
we
this
would win?
game, yeah.
Then do you think
Swap
we
out
would win?
G-Man's
we'd win
dad for
because
LeBron?
I think he's that great of an athlete.
You think he'd be good at hitting a softball?
Oh, LeBron's
You
going
think he'd be good at
He'd do
pitching?
whatever he wants.
You would
Yeah.
be pitching. He would be catching for you.
He'd adapt.
LeBron would be
LeBron.
He'd
catching for
adapt.
you. That'd be crazy.
He'd pitch and catch somehow. He's
Yeah.
got long arms. He's pretty fast.
If-
He'd
if-
figure it
Yeah,
out.
he just got abundant. He's
If
scoring.
Jordan can play baseball, LeBron can play softball.
He didn't do it very well. He didn't do it very well.
Good enough to make the majors.
Yeah.
I think that's something that the people will throw dirt on him and some shade, but at the same time, if
feel like
it's
that
something that you're
standard's kinda
just
going down
going
now.
out there and trying, baseball's the one sport, much like golf, where if you're just not playing it every single day and getting the repetitions, you can't just jump in. Like I truly believe if LeBron wanted to go play, he could play in the NFL anytime,
Oh,
any
absolutely.
day.
100%.
Absolutely.
Anything else that's just like truly athletic, even tennis, I think LeBron could figure out. But like baseball,
In my
I don't
opinion,
know, Baker
Jordan kinda
Mayfield got
ruined his
drafted,
legacy by
so,
going
I
and
mean-
playing baseball. But that's
no
just in my
way.
opinion.
Oh, he totally enhanced it.
I don't think so. I think he would be the GOAT over LeBron because he would have won a lot more championships if he would have.
Well, he still got a lot more than LeBron.
Wouldn't say a lot.
2. It's good.
Who do you play in those finals?
I'm just saying that Steph Curry's going to win 5 and be
Yeah,
better. Steph Curry's
exactly.
Steph
I knew
Curry's
this
going
was
to win
gonna get to
5
the
and be
NBA.
better than
Here
Jordan.
we go.
Here we go.
Steph
I
Curry's
feel heavy about this. So Like that's
I agree with
that's heavy on me.
We'll get into
that's
the
like a full day
LeBron
podcast.
versus Jordan.
Yeah.
We need to
That's a
set
whole
aside half of a
podcast, yeah.
podcast for that. I think we've already gone too deep to pick up on that conversation now. But I know you guys, you got some things on your mind and maybe some discussions that are needed to be had. So let's start with our gluten-free friend over here, Hayden. What's on the tip of your brain? Anything right now? And if you need to pass over to Trav, I know that he's just dying to talk about something.
I got the need.
I know he's
need for
dying,
speed,
so
but no,
Give it to him, Hayden.
Give it to him.
Give it to him.
I've got the all green from G.
No. If you got the green, then
Oh.
go.
Yeah, go,
No, I'm saying you
Oh, I
gave
thought-
me
I
the
thought
all
you-
clear.
Yeah, just get it over.
He's
with.
anxious, and then he's shaking the table. I got to find out.
All right, so Brian and
I
I,
got to find out.
on Sunday after the Northmore graduation, we stopped at El Camp, had a
Yeah,
nice,
shout out
nice,
Luis
a
and the
nice
crew, taking
dinner,
care of
had a
us.
couple beverages, and then Brian and I went over to Cinemark, had a couple
First
free
date?
tickets. Hey, he's fun. He's a fun date. I don't want to hear anything about that. But we went and saw Top Gun Maverick. Brian, I said earlier, we both watched Top Gun the night before. Brian wasn't really sold on Top Gun because it was more like a love story and there wasn't that much action. But then we go to the theater and we watch the masterpiece that Tom Cruise put together after 35 years in
I'll
between.
give him that too. I think
That's
it's a
pretty
damn
impre-
masterpiece.
Yeah.
You guys have to go see this movie.
Absolutely.
It's
And
so-
I don't want to give
so
anything
good.
away from it, but
Okay.
just the camera angles, they actually shot their scenes in the F-18s while flying at 5 to 10 Gs, and they had to control, each actor had to control their camera because there's 3 or 4 cameras in the cockpit. So just that view of them taking off of an aircraft carrier or flying through mountains and everything, that's real life. They actually shot that, and you can also see them trying to fight the G-forces. That's not fake. It's them actually trying not to black out because they are going at like 8, 9 Gs. And that with the story, it had a little bit of nostalgia from the first movie. It was just absolutely brilliant, and everybody has to go see it. Nothing but good reviews on it. And that led us to another conversation afterwards, Brian, and you brought this up. Are there many movies with multiple, sequels where the second or third was better than the first? You said you thought this was much better than the first Top Gun, right, Brian?
It's infinitely better than the original Top Gun. That they turn into a love story when the love happens in like 10 minutes. These people don't even know each other. It's not great, but it's decent, and I understand that it's iconic, and there's lots of other scenes to like about it. But the new Top Gun Maverick is wow. Like, it blew my mind. I almost do need to go see it again, like you did
I
today.
did today.
Stuffing
I
your
had
pockets
the ticket
full
that
of
was
candy.
Expiring, so I had to go see it, but
But that's
it
okay.
was great. But this brings me to my question for anybody. Of the movies that you have seen that have sequels and everything, is there any movie series that have a better number 2 or 3 than the first? I will start, and I will say Rocky. I think Rocky 2 was better than 1.
Rocky 2 is my favorite of the Rockies,
watch it.
so
Yes.
I'm all in on that. And when we talked about this, I was only able to come up with 2, actually only 1.5. So for me, The Godfather is great. It's such a great movie, but then Godfather Part 2, they're like on the same playing field. I love them both for different reasons, but they're both really, really good. And then Major League, I think
That's
you can
right,
make
Major League 2.
a good argument that Major League Part 2 is better than number 1. But again,
His shimmy
They're just
makes
like
the girls
this.
here in Cleveland puke.
Jack Parkman, man. So I just don't think there's that many. Can you guys think of any? That's what we wanted to know.
Anything.
Are there some out there that
even
we're
cartoon
overlooking?
thing. I don't know. I know you guys don't watch a lot of movies, but anything that pops out where the second one or the third one was much better than the first. I'll come to Hayden here in a second too.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
I watch a lot of movies. I like movies a lot.
Well, was there any that the sequel is better than the first?
Mad Max, the one where they go to Thunderdome, was better than the original one. There were a couple of Mad Max movies that were better than
Okay.
the original one. And John Wick 3 was infinitely better than John Wick 1 and 2, and I can't wait for John Wick 4.
Ooh, see, I'm on the total opposite side of that argument. I thought John Wick 1 was a classic, and then the second one, way too much action, and the third one, like, I got annoyed by
Really?
the action.
I liked the third one a lot, actually. I saw the third one 3 times in theaters.
I don't have the attention span for movies. I'm trying to think of even like iconic movies that I've watched that have a sequel. If I watch a movie, it's probably a comedy.
Okay.
Like I remember 22 Jump Street. That was not better than 21.
Mm-hmm.
Did they make a Paul Blart too?
Yes,
I think
they
they made like
did.
3 or
Yeah,
4
that
Paul
was
Blart
not
movies.
better. That was not better than Paul Blart.
So our
1.
Cars
He's
2 is
going
better than
way
Cars
down.
1. Where
I feel like comedies
where
are
Mater's
hard.
a
What happens in
spy.
that second?
Twice.
Mater's a spy.
No,
Just playing.
no. So Probably not. I haven't watched enough. I don't know. You guys have named like classic movies,
I know we're not.
and I still have like I'm talking about Paul Blart. So like,
Hey, Kevin.
no,
James
I
is
don't.
star,
I don't think I
right?
watch enough to know. So no for me.
Hayden?
Well, and to base like what you were just saying too, I feel like you could even break it down. I feel like comedies are almost hard
Right.
to duplicate because you're trying to make better jokes and stuff than the other
Yeah.
ones, so that makes it tough. I'm kind of like G-Man. I'm not the biggest movie connoisseur, especially when it comes to some classics. So my opinion may be here nor there. Like when I'm thinking sequels, I'm thinking like Monsters Inc. 1 or Monsters University. Like that's my
They are
movie
young.
level, you know. But I do think so. I'll just say I'm impressed, and I think I need to go see the second Top Gun because of
Yes, you
what
do.
you're saying.
Yes,
Because
you do.
it's very
That's why I'm
difficult.
wearing the shirt
Yeah.
today.
I think it's a very
Goose,
difficult
Just give me the
thing.
glasses.
All I got from this was that Travis invited Brian on a date to
Jory,
bad
I
dates.
invited
They had-
Jory
they
as
had
well,
the
but
date
she
the
declined.
night-
She's like,
on
wait,
Sunday
wait,
night.
wait, 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 wait.
Saturday
to
night.
see what Brian thought was a romance movie. So and Jory wasn't there.
Ooh.
So
Are you saying there's something wrong with that?
no, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that Jory might have to watch out.
I think we've known that for a while. Still.
She was a part of the original date. She was actually invited to the movie, and then was like, you know what?
I don't know
Why
how you turn
guys
down
just
Elk Camp,
go
though.
on
Ooh,
your
Ooh,
Maybe
Adam,
Jory-
look at
maybe
Adam's
Jory's trying to-
choices. We did say The
Oh,
Dark
okay,
Knight.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
facts.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark
Empire
Knight.
Strikes
I agree
Back.
with
That's a
that
good one.
You know, now that I think
There's a
about
few.
it, this is I'm a big Spider-Man guy when I was younger.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, the Spider-Man movies too.
And I think the newer ones are probably better.
The
I
Marvel
will say
ones.
this: the first one they made with Tobey Maguire,
The Tobey Maguire ones are classics.
like those are probably my favorites. But the one I think it was the last one they made. I think it was Spider-Man 3. Everybody hates it.
The one where
I-
all of them are in
I-
it.
Yeah,
I
that one
love
was
it.
Pretty good.
I love
Where all
that one.
three Spider-Men are in it, or is it
No,
the
no,
one
no,
before
no.
that? It was-
The old.
It's just
third
when
one.
Venom,
Okay.
when he like his suit turns
got-
black.
yes,
I
yes,
thought that
yes.
one was good too.
That was probably my favorite one. So I guess maybe that. But that's unpopular opinion.
What about? I asked Brian this: the Fast and the Furious. Were there
they're all
any
not
Fast
that good.
Furious
Yeah,
movies
I
better than
couldn't
the
get-
first one?
couldn't get
I don't-
into 'em.
They're all
Yeah.
not that good.
That's also a popular opinion.
I
as
checked
well.
out after 2,
Yeah, I think,
and
what,
I know
they're
that
at,
they've
like,
made
10 or 11
9
now?
cents. So I don't have a good opinion. on
And
that.
something towards you, since they didn't watch it. Rank your Rocky movies in order of the first four.
Oh, it would be 2, 4, 1, 3 for me.
I think I'm in agreement there. Rocky ends the Cold War. You got to have that up there close. 2 was just, what are we waiting for? Take him, it's
Just that one scene earns that being at the top
Yeah.
of the mountain for me. When Adrian wakes up from that coma,
Mhm.
there is nothing
Win.
better. And then he has on that shirt when he's doing the one-handed push-ups that says "win." Getting goosebumps,
Aiden,
man.
do you watch the Rockies? Do you have a ranking?
The closest, and this is shameful. I'll just out myself. The closest things I've seen to the Rockies are the Creed movies.
They are good.
Those are also
They are
good,
very
though.
good. I can't rank them
Right,
with
they
it,
don't
but
go in the same.
you could go Rocky because of Rocky 3 and what
Right.
happened. That led to the Creed movies,
Right.
which are great in themselves. I think there's another one coming out, so we
Yeah.
might be ranking these
Yeah.
down the line. But 2, 4, 1, 3, I think is the right way. Let us know in the comments, any Rocky fans. What are your ranking for that?
2's the best. And I see Storm
Win.
upstanding with me today now, huh?
Tweaked my back playing dunk ball.
Oh no.
It hurts.
I had to
Hey,
carry
we still have a winning record against them, don't we?
I about blew both my calves out on a dunk. It was horrible.
Storm went up for a dunk and missed the rim.
Missed the rim.
Like went to dunk it
far away
and
from
just
it. I airballed
hit
it
air. And he also got rim stuffed
on a dunk.
on a dunk and wide open dunk. Now the hoop's on like 7-2. Like,
I mean,
hey, but we won.
There's a double quarter pound of cheese in my
G-Man
Came
did
back.
try
We were
and
down
take it
3-0 or 2-0. Excuse me, playing best of 5.
almost as
Won
good as
3
the
straight.
16 Cavs, you know.
Almost as good as the 2022 Warriors. Warriors in 6.
1-1.
G-Man did kind of call me out. I mean,
Celtics did the job and split in San Francisco.
I haven't got to watch a single second of the finals live yet.
They've been
I was
so
working
fun.
game
They've
1
been
and then
fun.
game 2. Third quarter, we got done with our date. We were about to watch it, and then I pulled up the ESPN app, and it went from 8 points to 15 points to 21 points all in the matter of 2 minutes. And
It
I
was
was
worth
like,
watching after that. Anyway.
don't need it.
Yep.
Don't need it. So what's going on with these finals? Fill me in. What are some of the big storylines? What needs to change for one team or the other? Let's talk about these
Well,
Celtics first,
game-
because of course we're all rooting for them to win, except for G-Man, right?
And Storm. I want the
Storm.
Warriors to win.
Brian,
Oh.
you and I both have bets
Warrior.
with them.
Game 1.
Also, we actually got 3 Warriors in 2
Game
series.
1, Al Horford went off. Kind of the guys that you don't expect from
Yeah.
the Celtics went off. Derek White, Al Horford, Marcus Smart had some big-time shots, and then it was kind of a role reversal in Game 2.
Right.
Marcus Smart was nowhere to be found. Al Horford was nowhere to be found.
Bielitsa stepped up big for them.
He
He played some
Bielitsa.
big minutes off
But-
the bench.
I noticed a trend in every Boston loss this year in the playoffs. They turned it over at a high rate. I think they had 19 turnovers in Game 2, and Jason Tatum had a plus minus of 36 in Game 2. That's-
Yuck.
Jordan Poole hit that. I did see he hit that
That
buzzer
half-court
beater at the
shot
end of
was
the third.
dirty.
Pretty much ended the game.
Yeah, it's
was
if you haven't watched, watch. I think the viewing percentage is up 38%.
It is. I
from
did
last
see
season.
that.
So make
Dude,
sure you tune in.
the scary thing
Yeah.
for the Celtics is Klay Thompson is doing nothing this series. Like, if he heats up, that's scary.
He's waiting
But
for Game 6, as G would
Then
say.
again, Jason Tatum also has done nothing this
Right.
series. So there are scary things to worry on. for the
Jalen
Celtics.
Brown and JT had 26 combined in the first quarter, and then
They just
they just ran out of gas. They had no help. Al Horford went from 26 to 2.
Dude, and another scary thing for the Celtics is Robert Williams was not playing at 100%
No.
at all that game. He hurt his knee or something. Like, he was not on.
That seems like that's the big worry for me with the Celtics being there is that he can't seem to be healthy for 2 back-to-back games. Some type of ailment always kicks in for Robert Williams, so they're definitely going to need him. Celtics got to be the more physical team, I would assume, so far in the series. Are you
Draymond
guys?
is carrying the Warriors being physical. But
I don't know, dude. Steph Curry's been playing some
Steph's
incredible
played good
defense.
Steph has. It actually is pretty surprising. I've seen it on Twitter, a couple clips there. Steph's locked down. Al Horford had Steph in the post
And turned
couldn't
it
move
over.
him. Couldn't move Steph, and then Steph got a steal. I was like, dude, you got 50 pounds on him. How can you not move him?
Yeah,
Dude, and
good
then
6 inches.
Al Horford must have got dementia or something when he was guarding Steph Curry because he forgot how to play defense. You remember that?
Dude, I'm telling
He
you.
made it look like Al Horford was playing Dance Dance Revolution, step back, hit a 3 in his
Twister,
face.
dude.
Yeah, it was nuts.
But Clay's been bad,
Horrible.
very bad. I think he shot 419 last game. So, say the same thing about the Celtics, though. I don't know.
Whoever's top
I want to
sucking
say
the
this. I don't know if Jason Tatum is a superstar yet.
Not yet.
I want to take back what I said.
So the
Oh,
next few
seriously,
games
yeah, he-
will determine that
Yeah.
for you.
He's got to get a 30.
I
He
think
needs
that
a 30 piece.
This series is bigger for Jason Tatum's legacy than it is Steph Curry's, by far.
JT needs a 30 piece. He needs a 30 piece nugget.
Steph is so cemented.
30
His
piece
legacy, I don't think can only go up.
Here's the
I don't
thing,
think it can
though.
go down if they
If
lose.
Steph wins 5, he's better than Michael Jordan all time.
I think that's. I'm not going to say laughable because Steph Curry is such a game-changing player, but I just don't think you're paying proper respect because you didn't watch him. You're too young. You don't understand what Michael Jordan meant. He was the biggest athlete on planet Earth, and that was in any country. He's the only NBA player I think that has ever had that moniker or that whole persona about him. Michael Jordan was bigger than life. Beyond any athlete that I've ever seen, period, other than Tiger Woods.
I'll say that Michael Jordan is a bigger athlete. Like,
He saved Nike.
he's a more marketable athlete than Steph Curry, but I think Steph Curry's a better basketball player.
You know how many scoring titles Michael Jordan won?
I just think that the NBA is so much better than it was back then. The offense is so much better.
That's because it's
the
not as
defense
physical.
is better. And I
Well,
would
they've
not
changed
say
the
that.
rules, so it's more offense-driven. You can no longer hand check. Back in Michael Jordan's day, you used to be able to grab guys by the side. It was just a different game. You used to be able to foul the crap out of them on their way to the bucket.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I seen a video today on Twitter. Was there a thing in the Michael Jordan's area that was called illegal defense?
Yeah, you couldn't play zone.
Right.
Where the
It was.
guy...
It's been like that back and forth.
Well,
Zone
the
is
one
new.
guy explained it where Michael Jordan said he had a guy one-on-one with him. You couldn't cross, you couldn't come close enough or something, and the ref would go like this and call it illegal defense. I don't know.
Three
If I don't
seconds.
know if I was true or not, but he made it. He said it was illegal defense. I was like, I've never heard that, so I'm not gonna believe it. But I don't know. I don't know if he's better than Jordan. But
I think if he
he's top
gets 5, I think if he gets 5 rings, 6 rings maybe, because he definitely could get 6 rings. He could get 7. I think Steph Curry could retire with 8 rings. I think he could. I really do.
Well, I'm
because
definitely rooting against that.
as he gets older, think of the young guys they have that could potentially carry him. Like, imagine it. He wouldn't be the star in his 8th ring, but he would still be on the team and he'd have 8, which would be insane.
You can find a place for a guy like Steph on any roster at any time because of how he plays the game of
Absolutely.
basketball. But Steph too, if you watch him, off of the ball, he's working so hard,
They
so
all
much
do.
harder than anybody else in current NBA basketball. So we'll see. It is going to be interesting to see how Steph's game changes as he gets a little bit more advanced years. But maybe that's not going to be as big of a deal as we're seeing. LeBron obviously is the key guy to point to, where his game is still, he just keeps adding stuff, if anything.
Agreed. But also, this is another thing. Look at what Steph Curry's doing to the first guard to win Defensive Player of the Year in however many years. I mean, back-to-back, pretty much 30-point games. Wow. That's crazy.
I think he's the most impactful player of all time.
Steph Curry?
Changed the game.
I agree. Oh, just 29. Sorry.
held to just 29.
Just 29.
All right, so
Delhi.
make some.
Man, happy Dellavedova.
Now that you guys have some information, I just want to hear, break it down as quickly as you can. Tell me the team who's going to win the series and in how many games.
The Warriors in 6.
Warriors in 6. They split in Boston and they win 2 in a row.
I get my $20 Celtics in 7.
I had said Warriors in 5. That's not happening. Warriors in 7. Let's go in 7.
I'll just take the Celtics in any way that they can get it done.
Celtics in 4.
Let's go 7.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind going 7 just to watch.
Not wrong.
I agree.
Back in Golden State.
So earlier in the podcast, I made a mistake and didn't communicate with Adam, our producer. I apologize to Adam, but I do want to show you this play that ended the D4 state championship game. Lincoln View, that tying run was on second base. A base hit just over the second baseman's head. Watch this running throw by the center fielder to gun out the possible game tying run. That's how the D4 game ended. Base hit, could have tied it. They had nothing going on there in that game until a walk in an error in that 7th inning. Base hit made it 3-1, second and third, and then that amazing play, a center fielder on the run with the frozen rope to win a state championship. Can you guys make a throw like that?
You're going to have to beat Triway.
Should've
Come on.
seen me
Yeah,
when
beat
I was in
Triway.
right
I gotta be
field.
playing Triway.
I would say, not to take anything away from that, but I saw an incredible throw like that from Hannah Mazzaro
From Storm.
on Thursday that was from probably double the distance and a girl running at more than 50% speed from third to home. So I will put that up there against that one. But
I mean, the pressure
What a-
situation,
right,
too.
what a
She had to
moment.
go from center
this
field
was
to get
preserve
that
the shutout.
and throw it out to clinch a state championship instead of force, well, I guess the bottom of the inning where they could have done it. But still, that ended the game for a state championship. Now, that play
This
to
was,
keep the
yeah, to
shutout
get to state.
was great, but this was to win a state championship. Just
What a
being
move.
able to collect yourself, throw it on the run right at that catcher and give her a chance to dive and make the tag. That's probably one of the best plays you'll see in a
And
state
what a
Final
memory
Four.
you're going to have for the
Damn
rest of
near.
your life.
Oh, yeah,
Like, you saved the
absolutely.
day.
And
Yeah.
it gave Strasburg their 8th championship, so they're now 3rd all-time
Good
Powerhouse.
in Ohio. Them and Hillsdale, the 2 best D4 teams. We almost had that matchup, but we'll see next year.
And what a reaction. Let me just say this, since I think 4 out of the 5 of us got to go to state softball championships this past weekend, covering the regional games and the district games, they don't really feel like big games. You're at a normal high school venue. There's
What
not that
song
many
do they
fans
play
there.
when they announce the starting lineup, Brian?
When you get to Akron,
It
that
gets hard.
felt special. That felt different.
hard.
I felt like I was part of something big, and people filled out the stands. So I just wanted to salute all the
Absolutely.
teams and their
Yeah.
fan bases for going out
It
there,
was packed.
packed to the gills, and it got so loud. It's just a different environment. when
that
you
stadium
There were
itself.
vuvuzelas, those horns, right? I heard some of those.
so
man.
many vuvuzelas at the Triway
Yeah,
game.
man.
But just the way that stadium is built, too, the acoustics,
Yeah.
it just sounds like there's 2 times the amount of fans
sure.
there. It's great. The way they put it on, the grounds crew was amazing,
Yes.
getting that
Shout
field
out to them.
immaculate. They played the Top Gun theme when they announced the player. I mean, it made it special just the way that played. When you announced those players, it got the mood right for a game. Like you said, it made it feel like bigger, like a World Series or something like that, a college World Series. But it just, for these high schoolers, that's a memory that they'll remember. Like Storm said, picked up some of the dirt from Firestone Stadium, took it home. That's something you'll remember. But just the way the OHSA put that whole thing on. I know people were sometimes critical about the OHSA, but they nailed it for the state softball Final Four. The 3 days were just phenomenal.
Yeah, it makes me think my son's always bringing rocks home and giving them to me and saying, Dad, this is from my journey. He doesn't label them, so it becomes kind of lost in the mold, but he's always trying to create those memories from places that he's been. So I think that is kind of cool that girl brought home some dirt. Is there anything else that we need to dissect here, gentlemen, before we hang this one up?
Nothing to dissect for me, at least, but I do want to say this.
Yeah.
Except for the
Give it to us.
This is just a statement.
What,
This is just a
G?
statement. This is just a statement. Happy belated birthday to my dad, turning 50.
Aw.
Yes!
And my mom turned 47 yesterday. So
She
happy
probably loved that
birthday.
you just told them her age, but
She'll
all
be
right.
okay. She'll get over it.
Congratulations to both of the partlets. My mom actually is turning the big 6-0 this year. That's not for a few more months, but we're going to make that a thing. So looks like our boys need to get stretched out. This might be the longest podcast so far. We're over an hour, so any of y'all that stuck with us the entire time, we salute you. Thank you for hanging out with us here on the OH.Report Video Podcast. And guess what? We're going to be back in better than we were today next week. Probably on a Tuesday again. I think that seems to be the new day. Okay. All right, guys. Last word, Trev.
You can be my wingman anytime.
Eee.